Hey there and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be giving my candid thoughts on the all-new ESP Guitars 2023 lineup that we've seen so far. I'm basically just going to go to espguitars.com and browse around, which is something anyone can do. But if you're interested in hearing my personal take on everything that I'm looking at, then stick around. All right, so here we are at espguitars.com. Ooh, the new James Hetfield VULTURE, extremely sick. We'll be taking a look more at that in a sec here. Let me cruise over. New guitars from NAMM 2023. I gotta say right off the bat, I was super impressed with so many guitars that I saw here. Everything looks super badass. Starting with this E2 M1 THRU NT. I don't know if that's written correctly or not, but maybe it is, maybe I'm just a dummy. Anyways, this thing is badass. Reminds me a lot of the Arctic Metal. There's also like a Floyd version that we're gonna look at coming up here that's got my name written all over it. But this thing, look at this. Looks like they're featuring a lot more E2s this year rather than the LTDs, which is cool. Believe it or not, I've personally never played an E2. I've never been in the same room with one. I've got many LTDs and some custom shop ESPs, but I've never checked out an E2. I trust that they're fantastic. They used to be the ESP standard guitars, but this thing looks pretty killer there, man. Money, look at that. Shoot. Slick neck there. Guarantee that thing feels good. Yeah, super badass. I'd take that in a heartbeat. I don't know about you. See, that's a good thing. There's tastes for everybody on here. We got all different body shapes, everything we'll be going through. I'm just gonna kind of go through one. This E2 Viper, very sick finish there. Personally, I'm not a fan of this particular like style of pick guard, but other than that, I mean, this thing's killer. Again, I love that paint job. Headstock looked awesome. It's classy. Looks kind of like a matte finish there, maybe. Really cool. I know we got a lot of Viper fans out there, and I think there's some more to come. This E2 Aero NT, extremely sick finish. I love that. That top there, the matching headstock. I mean, the photos that they do of these things, look how sick these are. Like, that's just such a great photo right there. I wonder how they do that. The little things impress me, you know? Love that white binding around the neck and headstock. Another set of Fishmans there. The one volume, no doubt a push-pull. I don't plan to go through like all the specs, just stuff that that I'm interested in here. But that, again, that burled maple top, I really like that finish. This is a sweet guitar. The E2 Aero NT. Not much of a V guy, just personally, like, they just don't look good on me, I think. I'm more of an M style body guy, but I know how popular these things are. And if I were to play a V, shoot, I'd take this in a sec. No doubt. So this is cool. This is Nurgle from Behemoth's V. And this is like the 200 version, which comes in at a great price. A lot of these guitars for this year are really expensive. Probably has a lot to do with them being E2s mostly, and you know, just everything going on. I don't know, supply chain stuff. Is that still a thing? I think it's got to be. Inflation, is that still a thing? It's got to be, right? So, anyways, but this is a great price point for somebody looking into getting into a badass V. $750. This guitar has a roasted Jatoba fingerboard. That's interesting. Never heard of that. Very, very cool. Man, that finish. All these finishes are just so good. Let's jump ahead here to this guy, which is like the higher end model. Just looks the tiniest bit sleeker, I guess. Unbelievable. Another super cool V. And this has the Makassar ebony fretboard. So maybe ebony is like a higher grade thing than that Jatoba or whatever that was. But yeah, it comes with a case. That's cool. A lot of the new ones are featuring a case. This is $2,000, but I'm glad it includes a case. Look at that, an Alexi guitar case. Man, that's special when you got a case made after you. Even after you're no longer with us. Rest in peace, Alexi. Great guitarist, deserving of your own case that they're calling this case for these Vs. The Alexi case. That's awesome. I want a Rob Arnold case. Look it up. This here, look at this thing. Ah, so this is Javier's from Animals as Leaders. Big 8-string. Look at the size of this Floyd. That's insane. Huh. Man, this thing looks really classy. I'm definitely not a fan of 8 strings. I know a lot of you guys are though, so hey, that's cool. To each their own. But it's just too much for me. But I gotta say, this thing is all class. From top to bottom, or from left to right, however you're looking at it there. Very cool. Imagine this thing's got all the money specs, 2,500 with case. Pretty cool if you're into 8 strings and a classic look, which I'd call this thing. Kind of classy to be like that gold, yellow, what do they call it? Metallic gold. Cool. Congrats, Javier. Getting into an Eclipse here. This one has a really nice finish. I mean, that's undeniably gorgeous. Whether it's for you or not, talking about the style or that finish and everything, it's just no denying that thing looks great. Shit, 2,800. Wow. So pricey, but hey, you get what you pay for. No doubt this thing plays like magic. Very cool. The E2 Eclipse. Ooh, a new Stephen Carpenter. I know some guys out there with some SRCs. Shout out to Jeremy. What's up, man? Very cool. This thing looks great. Stephen's always got classy looking tellies. 7 and 8 strings. Got a couple 6s too, I believe. But Stephen Carpenter, for those who don't know, is the reason Kimura has an ESP endorsement. He hooked us up early on. We did a song with him on our first album, Pass Out of Existence. A lot of you know about that. But so thank you, Stephen. And yeah, he's got a great collection of signatures. Very cool. I like it. Volsung. Lars from Rancid. I'm not familiar with Rancid or Lars, but that's a classy looking Viper at a great price point, $700. If you're looking to break into the ESP game or get yourself a Viper, you can't go wrong with this. I've had some of the, entry level Vipers and played them, and I think Vipers are some of the greatest playing guitars I've played. Their particular style, it doesn't match what I like doing the most, but when I get the chance to play them, there's just something about them. They're riff machines, in my opinion. I'm sure this guy is no exception. And again, at a great price point. Sick. This is cool. Camo EC1000, very cool. This reminds me of like a Will Adler. Awesome. I like that a lot. Headstock looks dope. You guys like this one? I do. Very cool here. I never really thought of myself like as a pure red guy, but there's something about this red. MH1000, they call it Candy Apple Satin. What was that? Let me see. Yeah, Candy Apple Red Satin. I really like this guitar. Got the EVERTUNE. Fishman's. Yeah, this thing looks rad. classy looking headstock. But there's another version of this with a Floyd that we're gonna look at coming up. It's another one that's got my name written all over it. Very cool. Finally, for this page, a TE 1000 that is just undeniably gorgeous. Man, oh man. I did a demo of the TE 1000 here on my channel for, was it last year, for 21? I can't remember, but that was just a great playing guitar. I don't really have any experience with tellies at all, but then when they asked me to check out the TE 1000, I happily accepted, and I ended up really liking that guitar. Super cool. So no doubt this thing's going to be just as fantastic. EVERTUNE, just that burled poplar top, man. Holy smokes. I'm really a fan of how nice that looks. Just elegant. All right, let's get into page 2 here. Okay, so the Vulture. I think I mentioned before that I'm not much of a V guy, but if I were to play a V, this would be it. This is super sick. I read a little bit about this. What do they call that? These things here, they say they're kind of like the Metallica logo with the M and the A, which is pretty cool. V-shape mahogany. Oh, hooks and bevels that are reminiscent of the famed Metallica logo. Personally, I like that a lot, and I am just in love with this headstock. I love that and the ESP logo on there. I think this thing is just super sick. Of course, it's going to be James, the Godfather, but $5,700, you got to be willing to shell out the big bucks for that one, or maybe you don't, because there's an LTD version right here for $1,600. Sorry, I clicked off that. $1,600 with case. Very nice. I think this one would be a killer for anybody just looking to get into ESPs or Vs, or just, you know, play some Harvester of Sorrow, right? I like this guitar a lot. Very cool. Now, here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to name my top 3 choices out of all of these, and this one comes in at number 2. Again, kind of reminds me of the Arctic Metal, but with the Floyd and being an E2, supposedly of just a higher standard quality, or quality standard. Man, I like this thing a lot. And there's a red version too. So the white and the red, they're both the same except for the different colors. They're tied for my number 2 pick. So we'll get to my 3 and 1 coming up here. But man, I might have to get my hands on one of these. Very, very cool. $2,600, shoot. With case. Fishman's. All the specs I like. Very cool guitar. Yes, please. Now this guy here, I'm not much of a fan of that paint job. Reminds me kind of like a Les Paul that'd be like at your grandpa's house. Something about that, I don't know. Oh, this is a signature series. Bill from Mastodon. Sorry, Bill. Anyways, hey, like I said before, to each their own. And now that I see this, it is a Mastodon type guitar, right? But not for me. Not for me. Here's another one with that same paint job. Is this his too? Another, yeah. Bill from Mastodon. Dude, I'm not into these at all. Sorry, man. You don't have to be into my guitars either if you don't want, Bill. No big deal. You know? I don't know, that body shape and that paint job, I'm just gonna pass on this one. Sorry, guys. Hey, and sorry to anybody that digs that. Like I said, just not for me. This is sick. When I first saw this, I was like, that reminds me of a Gary Holt. Well, it is a Gary Holt, as I read here. Very, very cool. This reminds me a lot of the Frank Bello bass that I demoed. Same kind of color scheme, very, very cool, black and red, very Slayer fitting. You know, just kind of looks bloody. Very sick, 2,000 bucks with case, that LTD logo in red. Looks killer. Very cool V. The GHS-V. Okay, here we go. This was my number 3 pick out of all this stuff. If I could take any 3, this was my third choice. The E2 M2 HT. Reminds me a lot of the M1000 HT that is actually right there on the end, next to the GL56, that brownish one. The black one on the end is the M1000 HT that I really like. It reminds me a lot of that, except for this super cool paint job. The HT over there also has a killer paint job, but this one is another level, and it had a cool name too. What do they call this? Mercury Blue Burst. I like that a lot. I got a song called Mercury. In fact, it might be playing right now. I'm gonna make sure that it is playing right now under me talking about this, from my new solo album called Magnitude. But the song Mercury, it's getting a lot of love. Check it out if you haven't heard it. And let me know in the comments if you have. Mercury Blue Burst. Oh, you know what? And this, and a lot of these new ones have these new satin necks that appear, you know, like they're painted the same color. It's gotta be like a stain or something, but they still have that satin feel, which is just awesome. I had that on the M1000 and 7B back there. That was the first time I ever experienced that. I just demoed the M1000 7B, and it's got like a purple back of a neck, but it's not painted. It's this natural satin feel, and it just feels incredible, so fast and so smooth. So I'm glad ESP is doing this now. Dude, just look at that thing. Look at that picture. That white binding is just the shit, dude. So for me, what would make this thing absolutely perfect would be a Floyd Rose, which they did in my number 1 choice here. Come on. Which is right here. This thing, the E2 M2. What do they call this? In black natural burst. This is one of the sickest guitars I have ever seen, dude. I will have this guitar one day. Whether I ask ESP for it or ask one of you guys out there to buy it for me, you know, whatever, we'll figure it out. But dude, I am in love with this thing. Again, that natural satin neck there. I'm a big stickler for gold hardware. What was funny though, when I first saw this, let me zoom back out. When I first saw this, I was like, dude, they didn't even take the plastic coating off the pickups for these pictures. But as I see here, it's actually like part of the pickup. These are bare knuckles, which I'm not familiar with. But they call, what do they say? Oh, bare knuckle, aftermath, direct mount, battle worn black. So they're calling them battle worn with these things here. But I thought that was like just the plastic. You know, the plastic comes on your pickups on a brand new guitar. Sometimes you got to peel off. But dude, look at that finish. It's just a sick ass top, that headstock. So again, this is my number 1 pick. It will be mine. Oh yes, it will be mine. All right, got a few left on this page. Getting into an SN here. I believe this is the only new SN. So I kind of like the SNs. I did a demo of the SN1 on my channel here, which I prefer the finish on, but this one is still very, very nice. Again, just another classy one, elegant. Dude, look at that thing. Come on. It's clean. Very slick. Yes, please. Now, onto this E2 Eclipse with the Floyd. Honestly, the Eclipse body is on the lower end of my favorite of the ESP body styles. Not one of my favorites, but if I were to take one, it would be this guy right here. Number 1, because it's got the Floyd, my preference. Number 2, look at that top and that finish. Dude, this thing is just amazing. Again, I love how they're doing these satin necks. Promise that'll be the last time I mention it, but I just got to point it out that as I'm seeing it here more and more, oh my God, dude. Wow. And then another total beauty here. Another just fantastic top. It's cool binding. Another just red instrument, 2600. How much was that last one? I forgot to look at that. 29 or 3000 for this one. Shoot. Again, I believe you get what you pay for. They're obviously charging it for the right reasons, whether they have to or because of how it's designed. Most likely a combination of both of those things. But yeah, these are killer. Now here's that E2 Arrow with the Floyd, which would be how I'd take it. Again, killer finish. For me, this year is all about these sick finishes and those matching natural satin necks. That's what makes these guitars so far in 2023 stand out for me. I could play this sucker all day if it were presented to me. Very, very cool. Another 3000 with case. A lot of Fishmans in this year's lineup as well. Not seeing as many EMGs yet. Okay, we got through everything on this page. The final one, there's only a couple on this page, I believe. Oh, here's that candy apple red satin. So this is number 2 for me as well, tied with that white one. I think this thing is just badass. Everything I like about a guitar. Also, should have said it earlier, should have said it multiple times, but let me know which is your favorites in the comments. And let's keep it positive. No need to talk shit or any of those comments like, oh, that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen, blah, 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 blah. You know, maybe just say, in my opinion, I'd prefer. Anyways, never mind. I'm not going to tell you how to talk or comment, but hey, man, you know, if you've made it this far in the video, we're all just ESP lovers, right? We're all just excited to see this stuff and just oogle over it. Oogle, is that a word? I don't know. Just what am I trying to think of, you know? Just gush over them, wishfully think, picture ourselves playing them, picture them behind us, on the wall, or on stage. That's what it's all about, right? Dude, very sick M1000. You might see me with one of these sometime. Ooh, E2 Eclipse. Again, the gold I think is badass. I love the gold saddles in the EVERTUNE. Man, I had some just haters for the gold saddles on that M1007B, but hey, you know, get black then. That's what you like, whatever. But I think this is pure class. You see somebody playing this and shoot, you know they got it good. 3,100 for this guy. Probably worth every penny. Full thickness, I don't know what that means. Full thickness EVERTUNE may be the exact guitar you've always dreamed of. Starts with the traditional full thickness body, reminiscent of the most coveted single cutaway guitars in history. It's got to be the Les Paul, right? But with a modern twist. That EVERTUNE, very cool guitar. And finally, we got the new Kirk Hammett lineup. They all look the same. They're all the same in price. But let's look at this finish here. The black sparkle. This would be my choice. And oh man, the neon green little EMG logos. Very cool. I like that a lot. It's good to see some EMGs again too. Headstock looks awesome. Kirk always has cool guitars. I could rock this. All well priced. Dude, you can get a sick ass Hammett V for 1,800 bucks in any of these finishes you like. Gold. Oh, look at that LTD logo. I love when they're like embossed or 3D like that. Did Did that other one have that? It must, right? Hard to tell. It's there somewhere, but I think it's probably black. Yeah, it is. You just can't see it there. Yeah, just not a great photo of that particular LTD logo. Last one here. The red. This looks like old school to me. I'm not really into this. You know, I like the LTD logo again and everything, but just this color combination of that pick guard just looks like you'd be in deep purple or something playing this thing. So again, I'd take that black sparkle. I mean, sure, this thing's elegant. He's still got the green pickups, huh? With the green, and are those gray pickups with the neon green? Kind of cool, but I don't know how I like it in this particular guitar. Again, super nice, not for me. And going back to what I was saying before, all this is just kind of fun. This is like what I did before I turned the camera on. I just went through this stuff and, you know, daydreamed, fantasized about having them or what I'd like and this and that and everything. And I thought, why don't I just turn the camera on and give those who may be interested in my opinion. So that's what we've done here. I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you check out some of those guitar demos that I've pictured here on the screen that I've done for ESP, my favorite brand. Been an ESP artist for over 20 years, a proud ESP artist. Love absolutely everything that they're doing. And yeah, thanks for hanging out and watching with me. Make sure you explore some more videos on my channel because I got tons more stuff just like this. Lots of it surrounding ESP guitars, plus maintenance, conversation shows, and unboxings, all sorts of cool stuff. I'm Rob Arnold, signing off. Check out the description box below for tons of cool links that you may find interesting. See you on the next one.